Guys, welcome to Wednesday evening class, online class by ISKCON Silicon Valley. Thank you for joining. We will start with the Kirtan Jaya Radha Madhav, which will be displayed on the screen for you to follow. And then we will discuss some Krishna Katha from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, and try to learn from the purpose. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय. Now we will recite some prayers. They are known as Mangala Charan prayers to invoke auspiciousness and to receive blessings from the previous teachers, because of whom we have this wisdom of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam available to us. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master who has opened my eyes, which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance, with the torchlight of knowledge. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and of all the other preceptors on the path of devotional service. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnavas and unto the six Goswamis, including Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Jeev Goswami, and their associates. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Advaita Acharya Prabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and all his devotees, headed by Srivas Thakur. I then offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, Srimati Radharani, and all the gopis headed by Lalita and Vishakha. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते. O my dear Krishna, ocean of mercy, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the cowherd men and the lover of the gopis, especially Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold and who is the queen of Vrindavan. You are the daughter of King Vrishbhanu and you are very dear to Lord Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to share the next slide?
Yes, Prabhu. Suddenly, I think your voice could not hear.
Thank you. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just like desire trees who can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen, conditioned souls. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा. I offer my obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivas, and all others in the line of devotion. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you. So today we will be discussing chapter 10 of the Bhagavad Gita, the chapter entitled The Opulence of the Absolute. I would like to share my screen. So let's stop share for some time. Until chapter 9, Lord Krishna has explained to Arjuna how we are all spiritual beings and we are only passing through a human experience. He has also explained the process of Karma Yoga while we are in this world, how we can offer our activities, the results of our activities to Krishna, to the demigods, and that way we can live a prosperous life. Krishna also talks about how one can disentangle oneself from the fruitive results and one can act out of duty, which is called Karma Yoga. Then Krishna also described about Dhyana Yoga, which is the yoga of the meditation, where Lord Krishna recommends one should observe celibacy, go to a secluded place, sit on a place which is clean, sacred, which is neither too high nor too low. One should restrain one's senses from sense gratification. One should close one's eyes and stare at the tip of the nose. And one should try to meditate on the super soul or Lord's local feature in our heart. If a person perfects that meditation, then that person can go to the spiritual planet at the end of one's life. However, this meditation was rejected by Arjuna because he said, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna parmati balvadridam tasyaham nigraham manne vayur iva dushkaram. He says, Arjuna, who is the best warrior in the world, and he is supposed to win the battle for the virtuous side of the Pandavas. He says that, O Krishna, this mind is very restless. Chanchalam, he, mana, Krishna. Moreover, he is mad, Parmati, he's mad. Balavad is very strong. Dridam is obstinate. So, to control this mind is more difficult than controlling the wind, the raging wind. However, Lord Krishna talks about practice, abhyas yogi yuktena, that no wonder, O Arjuna, it is very difficult to control the restless mind. However, it is possible by proper detachment and practice. Asamshayam hi mana Krishna. That this is asamshaya, doubt, without any doubt, it is very difficult to control the mind. But if we practice with proper practice and detachment, it is possible. From 7th chapter onwards, Lord Krishna explains about how he is the source of both material and spiritual worlds. Lord Krishna is going to start about Bhakti Yoga, how the whole world is consisting of two energies, material and spiritual energies. Material energy consists of 5 elements or 8 elements, 5 gross, 3 subtle. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. These are the 5 gross elements. And there are 3 subtle elements, mind, intelligence, and ego. And higher than these, material energy is spiritual energy. which is all of us. We are spiritual beings in a human body, in a gross body or subtle body. So Krishna says that both this material and spiritual energy are emanating from him. When we take shelter of Krishna's energy, internal energy, or the spiritual energy, we are in our natural position of life and we can be happily situated. On the other hand, if we try to lord over the material energy of the Lord, we try to enjoy or usurp the energy of the Lord, it is a very miserable life. Although it may seem like very nice in the beginning, but it ends in misery. Lord Krishna in 8th chapter explains about how to attain the Supreme while we are leaving this world, how we can think about the Supreme and get elevated to the Supreme planet. Antakale cha mameva mukta swarna muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra samshaya. So Krishna is saying that while one leaves this body, Antakale cha mameva swaran muktva kalevaram, if one remembers me, yaprayati samadbhavam, he will come to me. Yati nasti atra samshaya. There is no doubt about it. Krishna also says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajte kalaviram tam tam evaiti kunteya sada tat bhava bhavita. Whatever state of being one remembers while quitting one's body, that state he will attain without fail. So whatever attachments we cultivate in this life, we will remember them at the end of our life. And that's how our next life will be decided. So Krishna urges to Arjuna to think about him, to think about Krishna at the end of one's life, so that one can be elevated to the spiritual world. And now, the most confidential knowledge. So Lord Krishna explains that how he is the Supreme Lord. He's the maintainer. He is the proprietor, and he is the enjoyer. And all the demigods are subservient to him. So a person who is intelligent, he directly approaches Krishna. And those people who are not intelligent, they do not approach Krishna. They think him as an ordinary person. In the 10th chapter, we discuss the opulence of the Absolute. So Krishna has explained that how he has pervaded the entire world in an unmanifested form. This is given in chapter 9, text number 5. So maybe I can share that also. Share screen. Chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge. Text number 4. Excuse me, text number 4. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagad avyaktamokina matsthani sarvabhutani na chaham teshu vasita. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. So Arjuna wants to know from Krishna how he has pervaded the entire world. That is the subject matter of chapter 10. So chapter 10 is entitled The Opulence of the Absolute. There are different kinds of knowledge. There is relative knowledge and there is absolute knowledge. Relative knowledge is true for a certain time, place, and circumstances. But the absolute knowledge is true irrespective of the time, place, and circumstances. So Krishna is known as the Absolute because Krishna exists in the past, present, and future. He's always existing. And in this chapter, we are going to hear from Krishna about his opulences. The dictionary meaning of opulence is opulence, let's say etymology, means great wealth or luxuriousness. It comes from French opulence, from Latin opulentia, riches, wealth, power, ability, resources. So this is what we are going to learn. So let's get started. We'll start with text 1 of chapter 10. Shri Bhagavan Bhuya eva mahabaho Shinu me paramam vacha Yatteham priyamanaya Vakshami hitakamaya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend. For your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. Purport and translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Purport. The word Bhagwan is explained thus by Parashar Muni, one who is full in six opulences, who has full strength, full fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation, is Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. While Krishna was present on this earth, he displayed all six opulences. Therefore, great sages like Parashar Muni have all accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, Krishna is instructing Arjuna in more confidential knowledge of his opulences and his work. Previously, beginning with the 7th chapter, the Lord has already explained his different energies and how they are acting. Now, in this chapter, he explains his specific opulences to Arjuna. In the previous chapter, he has clearly explained his different energies to establish devotion in firm conviction. Again, in this chapter, he tells Arjuna about his manifestations and various opulences. The more one hears about the Supreme God, the more one becomes fixed in devotional service. One should always hear about the Lord in the association of devotees. That will enhance one's devotional service. Discourses in the society of devotees can take place only among those who are really anxious to be in Krishna consciousness. Others cannot take part in such discourses. The Lord clearly tells Arjuna that because Arjuna is very dear to him, for his benefit, such discourses are taking place. So we see here the definition of word Bhagavan is that one who is full in six opulences. What is that opulence? One who is full strength. There are many people in this world who are very strong, but nobody can say that I'm the strongest or I have all the strength of the world. Lord Krishna, at the age of 7 years old, he lifted the Govardhan hill. So nobody can say that I can lift the Govardhan hill at the age of 7. Lord Krishna has full fame. He is famous throughout the world. He is famous throughout the history. Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita 5,000 years ago, but it is being read and reread again and again. People spend their whole life trying to understand Krishna. So Krishna is very famous. It was Krishna's birthday on last Saturday. So we had more than 10,000 devotees visiting our temple. So Krishna is very famous. Krishna has all the wealth of the world. When Krishna was present on this planet, he had 16,108 palaces because he had 16,108 queens. So one palace for every queen. Krishna has full knowledge. As we know, Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita and it is being read by great scholars Martin Luther King Jr., Emerson, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, Mahatma Gandhi, so many great scholars. Oppenheimer, he learned Sanskrit so that he could read Bhagavad Gita in its original form. So that is the power of Krishna's knowledge. Moreover, Krishna is aware of everybody's emotions. Krishna is sitting in the heart of every person and he is known as Kavi. Kavi means one who knows everything. So Krishna knows one's emotions. Krishna knows what I am feeling, what you are feeling, what everyone is feeling in this world. However, my knowledge is limited. I can only know what I am experiencing, not what others are experiencing. Of course, I can empathize with others, but I cannot actually feel how they are, what they are going through. Krishna's beauty. Krishna is source of all beauty. Krishna's eyes are like lotus petals. Krishna's face is like full moon. Krishna's it is said that Krishna's navel is like lotus. Krishna's feet, they are like lotus. They are reddish. Krishna's hands, they are reddish like lotus. It is said that there are 24 and a half moons in the body of Krishna. There are 10 fingernails. They are compared to moons because they are so bright. And there are 10 toenails, which are also as bright as moon. And then Krishna's two cheeks are like two moons. Then Krishna's face is like another moon. And um, there is Krishna's forehead, which is half moon. So that's how Krishna has 24 and a half moons. So Krishna is the most beautiful. Krishna is the most renounced renunciation. He has created this entire world, but he has given us to the conditioned souls. Krishna says in chapter 7 that Aparayam itastuvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahabahu yayedam dharite jagat. That we all are separated part and parcel of Krishna and we are trying to lord over this material nature. So Krishna has renounced this world. At the same time, he comes to establish the principles of dharma time and again. However, he is not attached to the material world. He is aloof. That's why he is known as Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, great sages like Parashar Muni has accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Vyasdev ji, who is a descendant of Parashar Muni, he writes Shri Bhagwan Vacha. So he accepts Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then it is very important to hear about Krishna. The more we hear, the more we become fixed in service to Krishna. Just like when we are cultivating some particular discipline. For example, I want to become better at playing a certain musical instruments. for example, piano. And if we hear about somebody who is an expert pianist, the more we hear about the uh, performances of this person, the more we hear about how he practices, the more we become fixed in our own practice because it inspires us. Similarly, when we hear about Krishna, we we appreciate him so much that we would like to serve him. Unless we know somebody, we can't appreciate anybody. So unless we appreciate somebody, we can't serve them. So it is important to discuss about Krishna, and that discussion can only happen in the association of devotees. What is a devotee? A devotee is one who is non-envious of Krishna and who has a mode of service to Krishna, or he has genuine appreciation for Krishna. So whenever devotees come together, they try to appreciate Krishna's qualities. And the more they appreciate, the more they enhance their devotional service. So, although the Supreme Lord Krishna has already spoken a lot about himself, but he wants to increase. Um, he's seeing Arjuna's enthusiasm to hear. So that's why he's continuing to speak. That's how one should be enthusiastic to hear Krishna Katha. We also heard in our Saturday class by His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, he mentioned how there is a conversation between Parikshit Maharaj and Shukdev Goswami. Parikshit Maharaj, he has only few days remaining before he is going to leave this world. And Shukdev Goswami is reciting the glorious activities of Krishna. Although Parikshit Maharaj has not drunk anything, no water, he has not sipped any water, he has not eaten anything for last few days, but he does not feel hunger. He does not feel uh, thirst. On the contrary, he tells to Shukdev Goswami, Naishati do sahashun mam tyaktodam api bhadate pibantam twan mukhamboja chuttam harikathamritam. That I am not feeling thirst and I am not feeling hunger. The reason is I am drinking the nectar of Krishna Katha, which is dripping from your lotus mouth. That's how Parikshit Maharaj glorifies Shukdev Goswami. And seeing the enthusiasm of Parikshit Maharaj, Shukdev Goswami becomes so enthusiastic to speak about Krishna. So similarly here, although Arjuna has heard in detail about Lord Krishna's glories in the previous 9 chapters, especially 7 through 9, but he is still more enthusiastic to hear about Krishna. So Lord Krishna, he becomes enthusiastic to tell about himself to Arjuna. Chapter 10, text 2. Anybody would like to read online?
I can read, Prabhu.
Yes, please.
न मे विदुसुरगणा प्रभवं न महर्षया अहम् आदिर्हि देवानां महर्षीणां च सर्वशः. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord. No one is greater than him. He is the cause of all causes. Here it is also stated by the Lord personally that He is the cause of all the demigods and sages. Even the demigods and great sages cannot understand Krishna. They can understand neither his name nor his personality. So, what is the position of the so called scholars of this tiny planet? No one can understand why the Supreme God comes to earth as an ordinary human being and executes such wonderful, uncommon activities. One should know then that scholarship is not the qualification necessary to understand Krishna. Even the demigods and the great sages have tried to understand Krishna by their mental speculation, and they have failed to do so. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also, it is clearly said that even the great demigods are not able to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They can speculate to the limits of their imperfect senses and can reach the opposite conclusion of impersonalism, of something not manifested by the three qualities of material nature. Or they can imagine something by mental speculation, but it is not possible to understand Krishna by such foolish speculation.
Thank you for reading.
Very good.
Thank you. So we can see here Lord Krishna is speaking about himself. He is saying that he is the source of the demigods and the sages. As we know, demigods are empowered representatives of Krishna, and they have much more capacity to understand and analyze things than an ordinary human being. It is said that Lord Brahma's entire body is made up just of intelligence. You can just imagine how much intellect that person might be having. And this person, Brahma, who is the most intellectual, he is the creator, he has created the entire material world under the guidance of Krishna, under the supervision of Krishna. He says that, "O Krishna, others may say that they understand you, but as far as I am concerned, I don't understand you." Then what to speak of so-called scholars of this tiny planet? So Krishna is beyond our imagination. His he, his uncommon activities is beyond our imagination. We can come to the conclusion of impersonalism because Krishna does not have this body, the material body like we have. So Krishna's body is eternal. Krishna's body is full of bliss. Krishna's body is full of knowledge. Our body is temporary because this material body has a shelf life. Our knowledge is limited. We don't know about this world, what to speak of the spiritual world. We don't know about this body, what to speak of another bodies. At the same time, our existence is not blissful. This body has so many miseries. Last night I ate more than expected and then it causes indigestion. So definitely we do not have those qualities of Sat, Chit and Ananda. On the other hand, Lord Krishna's body is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. So we can, if we just speculate, we can understand that Lord Krishna's body is not like my body, but I can't understand how he is actually unless I hear from him directly. So that's what Prabhupada is saying. Continuing, here the Lord indirectly says that if anyone wants to know the absolute truth, here I am present as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am the Supreme. One should know this. Although one cannot understand the inconceivable Lord who is personally present, he nonetheless exists. We can actually understand Krishna who is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge, simply by studying his words in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. The conception of God as some ruling power or as impersonal Brahman can be reached by persons who are in the inferior energy of the Lord. But the personality of Godhead cannot be conceived unless one is in the transcendental position. Excuse me. Of course, many people appreciate God as God is great because they know that there's a system to the universe, there's a water cycle, there's breathing, there's air for breathing, there's food. So somebody has to be behind all this. The sun rises at a certain time, the sun sets at a certain time in a certain direction. So there has to be some person, some entity called God, who is some ruling power. Or some people say he is an energy, he's impersonal energy. But that's that's a very insignificant part of his energies. It's called the inferior energy, which maintains the entire world. The personality of Godhead can be conceived only one who is in the transcendental position. And how we can become transcendental? Simply by listening to Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. That's the process. Lord Brahma says in his prayers to Krishna, ज्ञाने प्रयास उद्पास्य नमन्त एवा जीवन्ति सन्मुखरितां भवदीय वार्ताम् स्थाने स्थिता श्रुतिगतां तनुवान् मनोभिर् ये प्रायसो अजित जितोऽप्यसि तैस्त्रिलोक्य. One who gives up the process of mental speculation and with one's body, mind and heart pays attention to Krishna Katha. What is Krishna Katha? Spoken by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita and about Lord Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam. When one gives oral reception to Krishna Katha, such a person can conquer the unconquerable. Krishna is known as the unconquerable. He's Ajita, nobody can conquer him. But simply by paying oral reception to Krishna Katha, one can conquer the unconquerable. Because most men cannot understand Krishna in his actual situation, out of his causeless mercy, he descends to show favor to such speculators. Yet, despite the Supreme Lord's uncommon activities, these speculators, due to contamination in the material energy, still think that the impersonal Brahman is the Supreme. Only the devotees who are fully surrendered unto the Supreme Lord can understand, by the grace of the Supreme Personality, that He is Krishna. The devotees of the Lord do not bother about the impersonal Brahman conception of God. Their faith and devotion bring them to surrender immediately unto the Supreme Lord. And out of causeless mercy of Krishna, they can understand Krishna. No one else can understand Him. So even great sages agree. What is Atma? What is the Supreme? It is He whom we have to worship. There is another verse by Lord Brahma. He says, Athapi te dev padambujadvaya prasadaleshanugrihita evahi janati tattvam bhagwan mahimno na chanya ekopi chiram vichinman. O Lord Krishna, one can only understand you if one has received a particle of mercy from your lotus feet. Other people can keep on speculating for millions of years. They cannot understand you. So we can understand Krishna by the mercy, by the grace of Krishna. Other people can only think about impersonal Brahman. There is some impersonal form which is maintaining the entire world and the world is going on. Even if God comes and He shows superhuman activities, that is a display of an impersonal energy which takes a human form. These speculations can happen for many people who have not received the mercy of Krishna. But the great sages, they agree. What is the supreme? It is Krishna. It is he whom we have to worship. Text 3. Anybody else would like to read? Karthik Prabhu, are you available to read?
Okay, Prabhu, I think he's on mute. I will go ahead and read. So,
Okay.
यो मामजम् अनादिं च वेति लोकमहेश्वरम् असम्मूढा समर्थ्येषु सर्वपापैः प्रमुच्यते. Translation: He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds, he only, undeluded among men, is freed from all sins. Purport. As stated in the 7th chapter 7.3, Manushyanam sahasresu kaschit yatati siddhaye. Those who are trying to elevate themselves to the platform of spiritual realization are not ordinary men. They are superior to millions and millions of ordinary men who have no knowledge of spiritual realization. But out of those actually trying to understand their spiritual situation, one who can come to the understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the proprietor of everything, the unborn, is the most successful spiritually realized person. In that stage only, when one has fully understood Krishna's supreme position, can one be free completely from all sinful reactions.
Thank you.
Here the Lord, described by the word Aja, meaning unborn, but he is distinct from the living entities who are described in the 2nd chapter as Aja. The Lord is different from the living entities who are taking birth and dying due to material attachment. The conditioned souls are changing their bodies, but his body is not changeable. Even when he comes to this material world, he comes as the same unborn. Therefore, in the 4th chapter, it is said that the Lord, by his internal potency, is not under the inferior material energy, but is always in the superior energy.
Thank you. So, we know in chapter 7, Krishna speaks about many people who try to practice spiritual lifestyle, but not many of them actually understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are one in millions. That person can be free from all sinful reactions. Lord explains oneself as unborn. We are also unborn because we are all part and parcel of Krishna. However, we have this material body. This is the disease of birth and death. Because I want to lord over the material nature, Krishna, under the guidance, under the guidance of Krishna, the material nature gives us material bodies, and I have to give up this body at a certain time. There's a certain shelf life for the body. However, Krishna's body is unchangeable. So he is unborn. I am also unborn. But his unborn is different from my unborn. In this verse, the words Veti Lok Maheshwaram indicate that one should know that Lord Krishna is the supreme proprietor of the planetary systems of the universe. He was existing before the creation and he is different from his creation. All the demigods were created within this material world, but as far as Krishna is concerned, it is said that he is not created. Therefore, Krishna is different even from the great demigods like Brahma and Shiva. And because he is the creator of Brahma, Shiva, and all the other demigods, he is the supreme person of all planets. So one should understand that Krishna was existing before the creation and he is different from his creation. Some people say, you know, God was existing before the creation, but now he has divided himself into the creation. Now there is no more God. They give an example of paper, just like there's a full paper and then you divide it into different pieces and spread it across. Now there is no more original paper, but that's not the case with Krishna. Although he expands himself as the material world, he just by his energy, the material world is created, but he is still different from his creation. That's called spiritual power or mystic power of Krishna. He is even different from the great demigods like Brahma and Shiva who are created during this cycle. First of all, Lord Krishna's expansion is Balaram. From Balaram, we get Sankarshan and we get the quadruple expansion Sankarshan, Anirudh, Pradyumna, and Vasudev. From that Sankarshan, we get another expansion, um, Mahasankarshan, and from that Mahasankarshan, we get another four expansions, which is Sankarshan, Vasudev, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. And from there comes Mahavishnu, who is exhaling lot of universes, unlimited universes from every pore of his body. And within that universe, Mahavishnu enters as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And from his navel comes Lord Brahma. And from Lord Brahma comes Lord Shiva. So we can imagine how Krishna is so far separated from the Brahma and Shiva. So he is a source, he is a supreme person of all planets. Shri Krishna is therefore different from everything that is created, and anyone who knows him as such immediately becomes liberated from all sinful reactions. One must be liberated from all sinful activities to be in the knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Only by devotional service can he be known and not by any other means, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. One should not try to understand Krishna as a human being. As stated previously, only a foolish person thinks him to be a human being. This is again expressed here in a different way. A man who is not foolish, who is intelligent enough to understand the constitutional position of the Godhead, is always free from all sinful reactions. In the previous chapter, Krishna said, Avajananti mama moda manushim dehamashita param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwara. So there are people who do not know my supreme nature. They consider me as an ordinary person. That they do not know that I am the supreme lord of all the planetary systems. If Krishna is known as the son of Devaki, then how can he be unborn? This is also explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is a very valid question. We celebrate Krishna's birthday on Janmashtami every year. So it seems that he is born. He is the son of Devaki. So how can he be unborn? Okay, let's hear Prabhupada's explanation from Srimad Bhagavatam. When he appeared before the Devaki and Vasudev, their parents, he was not born as an ordinary child. He appeared in his original form and then he transformed himself into an ordinary child. Krishna appeared in a four-handed form carrying conch, lotus, a club, and a wheel. And seeing that Devaki and Vasudev became um, very prayerful, they offered prayers to Krishna. And Devaki was very fearful that Kamsa killed all her sons before Krishna. So she was very afraid that if Kamsa sees Krishna in this form, four-handed form, he might even kill Krishna. So that is the affection that a mother has for the son. Although nobody could kill Krishna, but she was so affectionate. She wanted Krishna to take the form of the baby so that the Kamsa won't come to know about his supreme nature. So, seeing the prayers of Devaki and Vasudeva and seeing their affection, Lord Krishna assumed the form of a baby. After that, Vasudeva transported Krishna from Mathura to Gokul. Anything done under the direction of Krishna is transcendental. It cannot be contaminated by material reactions, which may be auspicious or inauspicious. The conception that there are things auspicious and inauspicious in the material world is more or less a mental concoction, because there is nothing auspicious in the material world. Everything is inauspicious because the very material nature is inauspicious. We simply imagine it to be auspicious. So this is a really strong statement that Srila Prabhupada is giving. It's an eye opener. Many times people think that getting a degree from a big school is auspicious, and getting a job in a big company is auspicious. Getting fat salary, getting a good family, getting a good home, car. This seems to be auspicious. People go around showing their palms to the astrologers. Do I have any problems with my chart? Could you tell me something how I can get more in my life? The so-called auspicious things. But here, Prabhupada is saying that it's just a mental concoction. So why is it a mental concoction? How can we say that everything in this world is inauspicious? It is inauspicious in the sense that it brings disappointment. Yes, I've got a degree from a good college, but I do not know about my own self. Many people have to take self-help coaching even after graduating from a big school. Even that education keep updating itself. We have to always be updated with the latest trend. So what is the use of that big degree? Of course, it gives you some basic knowledge, but that knowledge is not permanent. Now we see that AI is there. So many degrees are useless, or at least partially useless. So we can see that there is some disappointment with everything that we consider so-called auspicious in this world. However, real auspiciousness depends on activities in Krishna consciousness in full devotion and service. Therefore, if we at all want our activities to be auspicious, then we should work under the directions of the Supreme Lord. Such directions are given in authoritative scriptures such as Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, or from a bona fide spiritual master. Because the spiritual master is the representative of the Supreme Lord, his direction is directly the direction of the Supreme Lord. The spiritual master, saintly persons, and scriptures direct in the same way. There is no contradiction in these three sources. So how can we bring real auspiciousness in our world? That is by full devotion and service to Krishna. So whatever material talents we have a degree, whatever material opulence we have beauty, fame, talents, good birth, we can utilize it in serving Krishna. That brings us real happiness. But how do I know what Krishna wants from me? We can read Srimad Bhagavatam, we can read Bhagavad Gita, or we can inquire from a bona fide spiritual master. So, spiritual master, his quality is that he does not change what Krishna has said. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva dharman pritachya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami ma shucha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I will protect you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. And the spiritual master also says the same thing. Please surrender unto Krishna. So there is no difference between a spiritual master who is the representative of the Supreme Lord and Krishna. There is no contradiction between them. That's how we can receive guidance of Krishna. All actions done under such direction are free from the reactions of pious or impious activities of this material world. The transcendental attitude of the devotee in the performance of activities is actually that of renunciation, and this is called sannyas. Excuse me. If we have some pious activity, we have to come back to this material world to enjoy. If we have impious activity, we have to come back, take another birth, enter the womb of a mother to suffer or to enjoy, so-called enjoy. So they are not actually auspicious. The real auspiciousness is Krishna consciousness. As stated in the first verse of the sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, one who acts as a matter of duty because he has been ordered to do so by the Supreme Lord and who does not seek shelter in the fruits of his activities, anashrita karma phalam, is a true renouncer. Anyone acting under the direction of the Supreme Lord is actually a sannyasi and a yogi, and not the man who has simply taken the dress of a sannyasi or a pseudo yogi. Now, you might say, if I have to work only for Krishna, then I might even quit my job. It seems too materialistic to me. But no, Prabhupada here is referring to chapter 6, where the definition of sannyas is given. Anashita karma phalam karyam karma karoti ja sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na nirag na chakriya. What is the definition of a sannyasi? Who does not take shelter in the fruits of his activities. He is not dependent on the results of his activities. Yes, I am working for an employer, but I am not attached to salary. Of course, we need sustenance. We need to maintain our body and soul together. But in order to get that sustenance, um, I'm not putting priority on that source of income. I'm more dependent on Krishna, and whatever job Krishna assigns me, I do that happily. So it is just like when we have a disease, we go to doctor for medicine. We try our best to go to the doctor, and we try to find the best doctor, and we try to get the best medicine. But it's not guaranteed that the medicine will work. It may or may not. So in that sense, we always have to depend on Krishna. When we take a medicine in Ayurveda, we say a prayer before taking the medicine. If Lord Achyuta wants it to work, this medicine will work. So one should depend only on Krishna for one's maintenance in the world. However, one does one's duty, and Krishna guides us through that. Anyone acting under the direction of the Supreme Lord is actually a sannyasi and a yogi, and not the man who has simply taken the dress of the sannyasi or a pseudo yogi. Arjuna wanted to quit the battle of Kurukshetra and become a mendicant, but Lord Krishna asked him to fight. So Arjuna, as a devotee, he agreed and he accepted and he fought the war without caring for the results of the war. That is called real sannyas, because he acted in the mood of service to Krishna without caring for his personal happiness or distress. That is called anashrita karma phalam. And such a person can be free from all the sinful reactions. So Arjuna did not incur any sin by killing so many millions of warriors, because he did it under the supervision, under the order or instruction of Krishna. This is a very interesting verse. It's beautiful and the purport is amazing. Anybody would like to read?
Okay, Prabhu, I can read.
Okay.
बुद्धिर्ज्ञानम् असम्मोहा क्षमा सत्यं दमः समा सुखं दुःखं भवो अभावो भयं चाभयम् एव च अहिंसा समता तुष्टिस्तपोदानं यशो यशा भवन्ति भावा भूतानां मत्त एव पृथग्विधा. Translation: Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame and infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. Purport: The different qualities of living entities, be they good or bad, are all created by Krishna, and they are described here. Intelligence refers to the power to analyze things in their proper perspective, and knowledge refers to understanding what is spirit and what is matter. Ordinary knowledge obtained by a university education pertains only to matter, and it is not accepted here as knowledge. Knowledge means knowing the distinction between spirit and matter. In modern education, there is no knowledge about spirit. They are simply taking care of the material elements and bodily needs. Therefore, academic knowledge is not complete. Asammoha, freedom from doubt and delusion, can be achieved when one is not hesitant and when he understands the transcendental philosophy. Slowly but surely he becomes free from bewilderment. Nothing should be accepted blindly. Everything should be accepted with care and with caution. Shama, tolerance and forgiveness should be practiced. One should be tolerant and excuse the minor offenses of others. Satyam, truthfulness means that facts should be presented as they are for the benefit of others. Facts should not be misrepresented. According to social conventions, it is said that one can speak the truth only when it is palatable to others. But that is not truthfulness. The truth should be spoken in a straightforward way so that others will understand actually what the facts are. If a man is a thief and if people are warned that he is a thief, that is truth. Although sometimes the truth is unpalatable, one should not refrain from speaking it. Truthfulness demands that the facts be presented as they are for the benefit of others. That is the definition of truth.
Thank you. So we see here intelligence means to analyze things in their proper perspective, and the knowledge means knowledge of the difference between matter and spirit. So Prabhupada would go to many universities and speak, and especially went to MIT in Boston, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It's one of the most prestigious schools. Prabhupada asked, you have so many different departments of knowledge, but where is that department which analyzes or studies the difference between a dead body and a living body? What is the difference? Dead body also has all the organs intact, and the living body also has all the organs. What is the difference? What is making a living body alive, and what is missing in the dead body? Where is that department? So that knowledge is missing in this world. Asammoha means freedom from doubt and delusion. So Prabhupada says nothing should be accepted blindly. Many times religion or spiritual books, they are considered as dogma. or just following certain set of rules and certain philosophy without going deeply into it. But Prabhupada doesn't say that for Bhagavad Gita. He's saying nothing should be accepted blindly. One should give proper understanding, properly analyze. Truthfulness is very important. It's one of the austerities of speech. Although sometimes the truth is unpalatable, one should not refrain from speaking it. Okay. Control of the senses means that the senses should not be used for unnecessary personal enjoyment. There is no prohibition against meeting the proper needs of the senses, but unnecessary sense enjoyment is detrimental for spiritual advancement. Therefore, the senses should be restrained from unnecessary use. Similarly, one should restrain the mind from unnecessary thoughts. That is called shama. One should not spend one's time pondering over earning money. That is a misuse of the thinking power. The mind should be used to understand the prime necessity of human beings, and that should be presented authoritatively. The power of thought should be developed in association with persons who are authorities in the scriptures, saintly persons and spiritual masters, and those whose thinking is highly developed. Sukham, pleasure or happiness should always be in that which is favorable for the cultivation of the spiritual knowledge of Krishna consciousness. And similarly, that which is painful or which causes distress is that which is unfavorable for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Anything favorable for the development of Krishna consciousness should be accepted, and anything unfavorable should be rejected. So there are two terms in Sanskrit. It's called Dhamma and Shama. Dam. Many times in India people talk about dam. Kitna dam hai aap mein. There's a movie called Dam. But it comes from Sanskrit. It means control of the senses. It does not mean to smoke cigarette, drink wine, and to drive on a high-speed bike. That's not dam. The real dam means the control of the senses. So we should enjoy the senses as much as we need. We should eat properly, not too much, not too less. We should sleep not too much or too less. We should recreate not too much or too less. That's called control of the senses. That's called real dhamma. Can we go to bed early? Can we rise early for the morning program, for our spiritual practices? That's called real dhamma. And more difficult than controlling the senses is control of the mind. That's called sham, dhamma and shama. So this whole material world, it encourages us to think about money, 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 sweeter than honey. No matter how much we have, we always think about accruing money and how I can guard my existing money. So that's a misuse of the thinking power. The mind should be rather used to understand the prime necessity of human beings, and that should be presented authoritatively. Of course, there is no harm against maintaining the needs of the body. We should have some bank balance, we should have some savings, they should be properly invested, 401k, etc. But one should not be thinking about it too much. That's why gambling is prohibited. Gambling breaks the spiritual principle of truthfulness. A person who is thinking too much about money, he cannot be truthful. Anybody else would like to read?
Oh, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Karthik Prabhu.
Bhava, birth, should be understood to refer to the body. As far as the soul is concerned, there is neither birth nor death, that we have discussed in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Birth and death apply to one's embodiment in the material world. fear is due to worrying about the future. A person in Krishna consciousness has no fear because by his activities, he is sure to go back to the spiritual sky, back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, his future is very bright. Others, however, do not know what their future holds. They have no knowledge of what the next life holds. So they are therefore in constant anxiety. If we want to get free from anxiety, then the best course is to understand Krishna and be situated always in Krishna consciousness. In that way, we will be free from all fear. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.37, it is stated, Bhayam Vidya Binivesata Syat. Fear is caused by our absorption in the illusory energy. But those who are free from the illusory energy, those who are confident that they are not the material body, that they are spiritual parts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who are therefore engaged in the transcendental service of the Supreme Godhead, have nothing to fear. Their future is very bright. This fear is a condition of persons who are not in Krishna consciousness. Abhayam, fearlessness, is possible only for one in Krishna consciousness. Right.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for reading. So, bhava literally means to become. So, this material body is always morphing itself to something else every moment. It is said that we can never step twice in the same river. So, if there's a river, we step once and we take the foot back and we step twice. But that's not the same river. Why? Because the river is always flowing. It's always in flux. So it's always becoming something else. Similarly, our body has 70% water scientifically. So this is also used, you can see like rivers, there are veins and arteries. So it's always changing. Every moment the body is changing. It is said that in 7 years, all the cells of the body change. So our body is always becoming something else. That's called bhava. And this disease is called bhava rog. Rog means a disease. What is the disease? To become something. The body takes birth and then it grows to a boy, to youth, to adult, to an old body, and then it dwindles and vanishes. That's called the disease of birth and death. However, a person in Krishna consciousness has no fear because he knows that he is going back to the spiritual sky, back to Godhead. The fear arises when I identify myself as this body. I am trying to lord over this material nature. I am trying to hold on to my relationships, to my wealth, to my designations in this world. But if a person is Krishna conscious, he is abhayam, is fearless, because he knows oneself as the servant of Krishna. And that position can never be taken away, even if we leave this body. So that's why Srila Prabhupada's name is Abhay Charnarvind, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So one who has taken shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna, which awards fearlessness. Ahimsa, non-violence, means that one should not do anything which will put others into misery or confusion. Material activities that are promised by so many politicians, sociologists, philanthropists, etc. do not produce very good results because the politicians and philanthropists have no transcendental vision. They do not know what is actually beneficial for human society. Ahimsa means that people should be trained in such a way that the full utilization of the human body can be achieved. The human body is meant for spiritual realization, so any movement or any commissions which do not further that end commit violence on the human body, that which furthers the future spiritual happiness of the people in general, is called non-violence. So that is real non-violence, to not check the spiritual realization of the humans. The human body is compared to a boat, a strong boat, and the cycle of birth and death is compared to a big ocean with full of waves, and the spiritual master is compared to a captain who can row this boat across the shore, take it to the other shore. So we can utilize this human body with the help of the spiritual master, with the favorable winds of the wisdom texts like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. We can row this body to the other side of the ocean of birth and death by taking shelter of Krishna's instructions. That is known as non-violence. I would like to pause here because we have only 5 minutes. I think if there's any questions or comments or corrections, we can share now.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Kautukārṇava Prabhu. Very, very nice delivery, very nice delivery. It felt that you are fully convinced of the message of Bhagavad Gita and then Srila Prabhupada there. The way you are delivering the message, it seemed that you have really, imbibed the whole thing in your heart. That was really great. I just wanted to, comment on that.
Thank you, Prabhu. It is the mercy of Guru Maharaj, His Krishna Shishika Prabhu and Srila Prabhupada, that we are able to read this and apply this in our day-to-day life. So, and we hear from them their realizations, so it becomes even more clear for us.
Yes, that is good. Based on the time, place, and circumstances, they have translated these messages for our modern world. Yeah.
Thank you for running this live stream.
Yeah, you're
Karthik
welcome. I
Prabhu.
checked online. I don't see any comments or questions,
Okay.
but there are people listening. I know that. So if you want to continue for another 3 minutes, it's fine. 8:30 it is over.
Okay.
Or you can stop here. It's up to you.
I think we can stop here. We can do some kirtan.
Okay.
Or Karthik Prabhu, if you have any questions or reflection, we can discuss that. Okay, we'll do a short kirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining. I would highly recommend all the devotees to join Chapter a Day program. There's a website, readchad.com, readchad.com. Read Chapter a Day of Bhagavad Gita. So the more we read it, the more it goes in our mind and in our heart. The more we repeat, the better it is. It's like grinding sandalwood. The more we grind the sandalwood, the more fragrance comes out of it. So we have this human life. We must utilize it by reading Bhagavad Gita hundreds and hundreds of times in this one lifetime. Thank you so much. Hare
Prabhu,
Krishna.
there is a comment in the Facebook. There is one Prabhu Nemo Sokal, I think Sokal or Sokal, I don't know. He's saying, thank you, Prabhu. When is the next class? I told you, right? Your class is it was really ecstatic. I mean, it showed a lot of conviction, when you are presenting. So, very nice.
Yeah, Nemo Prabhu, very soon. We
Very soon.
have we have these classes every Wednesday and Saturday and Sunday. You can subscribe to our ISKCON of Silicon Valley channel, and you will hear many, many more self-realized souls. So I'm sure you will relish it. Thank you for your encouragement.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कृपा
कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च
सिन्धुभ्यश्च
पतितानां
पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमो
नमो
नमः।
नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय
जय
कौतुकर्णाव प्रभु की जय
श्री आश्रम प्रभु की जय।
शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गौर
श्रील
भक्तवृंद
प्रभुपाद
की
की
जय Thank you, dear devotees, for taking time from your busy lives and joining this Wednesday online only class. Please note that this weekend on Sunday, we have a Rath Yatra in San Francisco Golden Gate Park. It starts, the Rath Yatra starts at 11 a.m., but the Rath will reach there by around 1 p.m. So please do come there and join us in that festival, Chariot Festival, famously as it is known. And we'll again have next week, Wednesday, online only class. Hari Bol. Thank you again. Hare Krishna.